Hello and welcome back to ALEC TV. My name is Andrea Burrow, and on today's episode, I will be talking to two current agricultural communications students here at the University of Illinois. Taylor Talbert and Jennie Abbott were able to visit Fort Worth, Texas over spring break to celebrate National Ag Day at Ag Rally. During their time there, they were able to give a live TV update about the James Evans Center for Global Agricultural Communications. They were also able to connect with many industry professionals as well as ACES alumni. Here with me today, I have Jennie and Taylor, who are going to give us an update on their trip to Texas. So I have Jennie and Taylor here with me, and today I'm going to ask you a little bit about yourselves. Introduce me, tell me how you're involved in the ALEC program.
Yeah, my name is Taylor and I am a senior in ALEC. I am not only a part of the Aligning Ag Communicators of Tomorrow, but I'm also an ALEC intern. So it's kind of how I spend my time in ALEC. I'm involved in all three student organizations we have, but definitely focused on that ACT.
Hi, I'm Jennie Abbott, and I'm a junior in agricultural communications, and I am the president of Agricultural Communicators of Tomorrow. So it was a really, it's a really cool opportunity to serve ag communicators of tomorrow and just, be more a part of the agricultural communicators communications major.
Very good. So the two of you were able to go to Fort Worth, Texas over break. Can you tell me a little bit about that trip and why you were there? And, what was the goal of being there?
Yeah, so we were there for 4 days. And we were there to focus really on being on RFD TV and promoting the Dr. James Evans Global Center for Food and Agricultural Communications. We got the chance to be on live TV in Fort Worth, but we also got a little bit of time to be tourists and go shopping and do all the fun things that Fort Worth kind of had to offer in between kind of prepping for that interview.
Yeah, same. It was a really cool opportunity to get to represent agricultural communications on live television, but also just be a part of the Texas scene and, network with all of the people at RFD TV and things like that.
Yeah, so a little background. Fort Worth, Texas hosts Ag Rally every year. So this is the second time that we have had two AgCom students go down and talk about the James Evans Global Center for Ag, program that's going on. And we also had Lyle Orwig come in a few weeks before to talk at an Agricultural Communicators of Tomorrow meeting. Did you guys get to spend time with him while you were in Fort Worth?
Yes, we actually got to spend quite a bit of time with him. He was busy doing his thing, but we got to bump into him, talk to him. He was one of the people that we knew previously going into that, so it was good to see a familiar face and get to know him better.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a major component of why we were there with his connections to the Ag Rally. So that was really nice to meet with him there.
Ag Rally is put on every year by the Certified Ag Dealer Company, which Lyle Orwig is a huge part of, and he is also an AgCom alum from the University of Illinois. So it's very cool that we get to have such a key involvement in, Ag Rally every year and get to host some alumni events. Speaking of alumni, what other alumni or ag industry professionals were you able to connect with while you were down there?
Yeah, so we got to go to the Aces and Places event, which was hosted the night prior to going on live television. So it was really, honestly, a good opportunity for myself, probably Taylor, to talk about the Evans Center and what we were going to talk about on live television to some of our alumni to let them know what was happening with the Evans Center and things like that. But, we actually, met with a few alumni that they live in Texas, but they still have that Illini pride. So it was really cool to connect with them and, hear what they're doing in Texas, since they've been out of Champaign.
Yeah, in addition to the alumni that we got to meet too, we also got to meet some notable people in the ag dealership world. We sat down a lot with Pat Driscoll, who ended up actually interviewing us, and he's the president and CEO of like the ag dealership corporation company, all of the conglomerates that they have. And so that was really a unique opportunity for us to practice questions, get to be with him on live television, and then just network and meet with some other individuals from that company on the outside of being on.
Yeah, it's really cool that we have the opportunity to have, AgCom students talk on live television. Can you tell me a little bit about how the two of you prepared for that and what you're trying to get across in your short interview?
Yeah, so we did get to sit down with Pat and just go over a little bit about, what we're going to talk about. Obviously, it's live television, so there's no real script, but it was nice to kind of get a feel for how our communications and our conversation would go. And, we wanted to obviously get the point across that we're still fundraising for the Evans Center. We're, over halfway to our goal, but, we still have that to go. And we're excited about the future of agricultural communications.
Yeah, like Jenny said, the main idea was really just to share about the Evans Center. I think one of the main points we really wanted to get across is how students were going to be involved and are involved in the creation of the center. And that's kind of why Jenny and I were able to be the faces of that. But to really just connect with our audience and maybe they've never heard of the University of Illinois, and so now they're going to go look us up, look up the center, and maybe we'll get a donation along the way. But the idea was really just to get the word out and be like, hey, Illinois, we're pretty cool. Here's all the things we have going on.
So it sounded like this trip helped our program a lot to gain at least some awareness of what's going on with the Evans Center. I think it's very cool that, the two of you, juniors and seniors, you might not see the effects of the Evans Center while you're in school, but you still are so passionate about agricultural communications and future students coming in. I think that's really a testament to the passion that is in the AgCom program. I do want to ask, what did you take away from this trip and how are you going to implement it in, the rest of your time here? I know, Taylor, you only have, 30 days left, so that might be a little bit of a hard question, but, what did you take away from this trip?
I think just honestly, it was just a unique opportunity to go a place I've never been before, meet people that maybe I knew a little bit about, but not a whole lot, and really just make those connections. For me, I'm going to take that with me into my future career and every career after that, right? And just kind of hold on to that connection and really just be like, hey, I was on RFT TV. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But here's all the other things I can do too. And I think that was a really good outlet for me. But also, again, just to really promote Illinois, I absolutely have loved my time here, and would love nothing more to give back. And I'm just starting off. So it's really cool to meet some of those young alumni and be like, I'm going to be that one day, and really try to give back while I'm here, but also when I come back, maybe in the future to participate in a program that the Evans Center might host.
Yeah, I think the networking portion of being in Texas was really cool. Not only being in the stockyards, that was amazing, but also just getting to know people from all over the United States and all over the world. We talk about how the Evans Center is a global center. And so I think it's really awesome to, experience, different people and how they all connect to the same thing. So they all connect to ACEs and the ALEC program and how, they bring that pride and go and do something really, really cool. And whether it's the United States or somewhere else in the world. So I definitely will carry that through my Illinois journey next year. Just remembering, how important networking is, and also just, continuing to have the Illinois pride. Because like Taylor said, I have loved my experience at the University of Illinois and in the AgCom program. So I also want to continue, carrying that with me.
Yeah, that's really good. And I also think it's such a testament to the experiential learning that we get to do as ALEC and AgCom students. How many people can say they've been on live TV before they're, 22 years old? So it is really cool. And I think the two of you did a great job of representing our program, and you will only continue to do so as alumni. So thank you for tuning into this episode and for hearing from two of our current AgCom students here at the University of Illinois. See you next time on ALEC TV.